PDP family. PDP family. We have got to be ready. We have got to be ready. We have got to be ready because you need to make sure that no matter what happens this week, Monday morning, when you get up bright and early after you say your prayers or you do whatever you do, and you put on your nice clothes and you head to the polls, regardless of what happens this week, you have got to be ready. It is an honor for me to stand here this evening to endorse and to show full support to my colleague, Miss Megan Cicely Morrison. As she contests the new electoral district known as Mount St. George Goodwood. But you'll allow me, I'll leave a little bit to talk about a couple other things that have been bothering me. I would like to address some of the health concerns. Now, honestly, Wednesday night is supposed to be my night. And I had planned to talk a little bit about this then. But I spent so much of my day today talking to health professionals. It was phone call after phone call after phone call, and they were all ranting about what was happening. So I decided I would take a little bit of your time, Megan, to just address some of the health concerns that we have today. I want to start by honestly thanking God that I was able to attend the Assembly Day prayer service this morning. Because the minister who brought the word at that point, he spoke about leaders leading only through the strength of God, and leaders only leading following the direction of God. And after all of the conversations that I had today, Heavenly Father, I need help. The complaints are so many. We all know that we do not have a parallel healthcare system here to treat with COVID-19 patients. We continue to have the epicenter of the infections being at the hospital. And that is happening, which prevents so many people who have other illnesses from wanting to go to the health facilities. And because of that, Heavenly Father only knows what we will have to deal with, not just COVID, but everything else that we neglected over the last year, 2 years, that will come to bite us. Right now, we know that we still do not have, and I don't care what none of them come on TV tomorrow and say, we have no proper testing facility in Tobago. That is why everybody who is getting tested now, they're telling them you have to wait a week or 2 weeks before you could even get tested, and some of them you have to wait even longer than that before you get the results. We all know that we have limited ICU facilities here. We know that. And that is why, for example, when I read one of the press releases a couple days ago, and they spoke about the fact that we had 9 ICU patients. And I'm wondering how in heaven's name we have 9 ICU patients and we only have 5 or 6 ICU beds. And then I remembered the day after, or 2 days after, we have to say condolences to the friends and the families of those who died. The fact is, though, that our healthcare woes did not start with COVID. And like so many of the other woes that we are dealing with on this island, COVID-19 only amplified the failed system that we have been dealing with for the last 21 years. But as the goodly pastor in our group says, Pastor Baines always says, God will help us. I have had the privilege of actually teaching a course in healthcare quality management at a facility in Trinidad over the last couple years. And this course is based on two fundamental principles. These are quality, even though it is very subjective, can always be improved. And the way to improve quality is to first understand the problem. So please allow me to talk briefly about these two things as it relates to healthcare in Tobago. Let us start with that little word known as system. You know, we always thought the healthcare system broken. The economic system is broken. What is a system? And I want to read it verbatim. A system is a group of interacting or interrelated elements that act according to rules to form a unified whole. Let me repeat that. A system is a group of interacting or interrelated elements that act according to set rules to form a unified whole. So let me break that down. In the healthcare system, that includes the people, it includes the equipment, it includes the medication, it includes the building, and it also includes the processes, you know, how you hire people, what you do to procure, how you manage your supply chain, how you do budgeting, all of those things. All of those things, each and every one of those things need to work for the system to work. Unfortunately though, when our systems fail us, we very quickly blame who seems to be the easiest of targets. Who is that? The people. So we frequently hear about, and we've said it is the first thing that does come out of your mouth. You go up by the hospital and you stand up long, and the first thing you say is, the doctor don't know what you're doing. Or the nurse only stand up, they're looking pretty. We quickly blame the people. But what we do not know is that those same people are simply trying to respond to the rest of the system that is completely broken. And what I have recognized is that many times these very individuals who we are so quick to blame, we do not know the sacrifices that they have been doing. We do not know that the fact that we can get the service that we're getting, even though it's not the best, is because those very people have been holding up the entire system on their shoulders. And for that, we have to be continually thankful, and we cannot blame them because they are only one part of the system. So our COVID patients right now, you all remember when we started this thing, we so very proudly had a full media walkthrough of a thing that they called a COVID tent. Right now, that tent is full. That tent is full and overflowing, and coincidentally they overflow because these same people who we are so quick to blame don't know what else to do, and they must do something with the patients. Those people who are being overflowed are now being seen in the accident and emergency. So we now have a situation where you have people who may or may not have COVID going into the accident and emergency, and we now know what that means. But God will help us. To improve this situation, we have something known as the Moriah Health Center. Will you hear about it? You ever hear about it? It opened twice, yes. They had a really, really nice opening for it just before election last year. And they had a whole key handing over ceremony or something like that a couple weeks ago. What they could have done, because that is a brand spanking new building, is they could have actually turned that into our infectious control center. They could have turned that into our infectious control center. They could have repurposed it, because you realize it's still open. They could have repurposed it, and because of its specific location, because it is actually right next to that field, if we had a situation where we had overflow, we could have simply put the same tents that you see them using in New York, and you see them using in Florida, and you see them using all over the place. Those tents could have gone right there next to that field. So we don't have to worry about where we're putting them. But even before COVID, I am sure all of us at some point in our life have actually had to go up by A&E. And we realize that is a whole day and a whole night adventure. So you have to ask yourself, we know that that is not good quality. But you have to ask yourself, what is the cause of that? What is the cause of you having to go up there and spend whole day and whole night? And when you listen to the health professionals that they so quickly, and we sometimes when we're vexed and anxious, so quickly try to blame, is that they tell you that they are waiting for the results. They are waiting for the diagnostic tests, whatever they were that they did on the patient that is sitting inside. And they do not know what to do to treat that patient until they have gotten back the results. So how do we fix that? We need to then figure out how to get speedy results for CTs, MRI, X-ray, and our blood work. Because until you can fix that part of it, you are not going to fix the part about being in A&E long, because the doctors and the nurses and all of the other health professionals there, they need this information to make a proper diagnosis to then say what to do to make you well. As I said before, quality can always be improved, but you first need to understand the problem. Let me talk to the healthcare workers specifically. I know, all you're tired, all you're sick, tired of feeling neglected, feeling blamed, being ill-treated, being scapegoat, overworked, and everything else that you are feeling. And I know, if it hasn't happened yet, because I don't be listening to them on the other side, sometime this week you would hear about getting your gratuity just before election. Because every single day just before election, you hear the announcement that we're paying the gratuities of these health workers. And every single election it comes and it goes, and they still have not been paid. Sadly, I know that many of you want to pack up and go. Unfortunately, many have gone. Many of the nurses who I have actually taught, because yes, I have actually taught quite a bit of the younger nurses that have come out into the system, they have already packed their Georgie bundle and they are gone. But I am asking you, the healthcare professionals, to help me help you fix this problem. I'm asking all of you. Those of you who are still here, those of you who've been lifting the system up on your shoulders all by yourself almost, I am asking you to help me fix this problem. I know that many of you already know the root cause. You already know it. You have been talking about it. It's all you that calling me every day. I'm long on phone. You all know the answers. You all have been to myriads of consultations where the administrator come. Remember last time a couple years ago when there was the whole thing with the woman who said the thing about me? And they had a whole task force set up to treat with that when they had the signatures of the petition that was going on. And the same health professionals, all of them actually sat down and said to them, these are the things that we need fixed. So I know that you all know the answers. You said it so many times before. I am just asking you, though, to not give up. To not give up. To not give up. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Because my aim, if PDP is, let me rephrase that, when PDP is successful, my aim is to work very closely with each and every one of you to ensure that we implement some what they call circles of improvement. Small circles of improvement, and over time these small changes will eventually lead to big positive responses. But to do that again, I am asking you to work with me, not to give up. Get ready. Back to my girl Megan. So here now, Megan Cicely Morrison is our candidate for Mount St. George Goodwood. Give her a round of applause. Yeah! But let me tell you a story. See, when we were in 2020, it was middle of 2020, right? And we are thinking about THA elections coming up in 2021. And we started asking around, a couple of the other people on my team and so forth. We're going around, who you think is a good person for this Mount St. George seat? Who you think is a good person? And one name kept popping up over and over and over. Even people on the other side were saying, you see, if you don't get she, we got support you. And that name was Megan Morrison. Many of them actually said to us, you know Megan? Yeah, know Megan? Mother Morrison who shop up on the hill. She daughter. She always there with us. She already in everything. We already calling she for everything. So you may as well send she up because she already representing us. And that is why I kept pursuing. I called. And this is the funny part, eh? You hear how Mr. Duke does talk about how I give you trouble? Listen, I call Megan. I message Megan. I meet with Megan. At this, at that, at the other. She asked me all kind. I tell you, Megan asked me all kind of hard questions about PDP and the politics and whatnot. We even got to the point where I said, okay, I'm going to leave you alone. Finish your degree, because I know she was working on that. But after you finish, we're coming back. She finally accepted, and she was the candidate in January. Yes, we all know what happened in January. She was, quote unquote, not successful. But the story did not end there. It didn't end there at all. Because after January 2021, I saw Megan become the kind of representative that even me would be proud to say, that woman up there, that is my area representative. Listen. Monday morning, Megan was launching some program. Sometimes I used to go on Facebook, Sishi, shoot my teeth and close it. Because honestly, she was making me, who was an elected assemblyman, look bad at some points. There were some days I had to say to myself, nah, Faith, you can't let Megan do more than you. You can't let Megan do more than you. Get up, get up, get up. Do something, because of the amount of work that Megan was doing when she was not the elected one. As a matter of fact, I would dare say that she did more for that electoral district than the one who, quote unquote, won. If all of you elect Megan to be the representative for Mount St. George Goodwood, you would be electing an amazing person. Downright an amazing person. But let me stick a little plug in, because the reality is, because of this new configuration of the seats, the seat that Megan now holds included some of mine. And I have to say to my Goodwood partners, and I had to say to the little part of Mount St. George that used to be a part of what was then Goodwood Belgarden West, that you absolutely must, you must support Megan the same way you supported me, because the Progressive Democratic Patriots, we need that seat. We need that Mount St. George Goodwood seat. If you want Mr. Farley Chavez Augustine to be your chief secretary, but if you want me to be the secretary for health, all you have to support Megan the same way you all supported me. You must. And don't worry, when you support her and she wins, it's like getting a 2-for-1 deal, because you're getting both of us. Because the Progressive Democratic Patriots, we work as a team. So whether you see she, talk to she. If you see she, if you see me, talk to me. Know that it doesn't matter which one of us you speak to, whatever your issue is will be resolved. It is an absolute honor to stand here this evening and officially endorse this absolutely lovely, amazing woman known as Megan Cicely Morrison. Mount St. George Goodwood, we need you to vote for Mother Morrison daughter. It's as simple as that. We need you to vote for Mother Morrison daughter. We need you to vote for the Bamboo Bolife. We need you to vote for the Progressive Democratic Patriots. We need you to vote for every single one of our PDP candidates, because it's only after you vote on December 6th will those of us on this side be able to finally fix all of the issues that you have been dealing with. PDP family, thank you, and let me fix this.